Hello and welcome to Wikipedia Weekly Network here in this show where Albin Larsson and I are editing Wikidata live. How are you doing, Albin?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm great as well. I've been photographing a lot yesterday, so now I'm having lots of images to sift through.
Right, for commons then.
Yes, for commons then. So it's going to be a little bit of mix of Wikidata and commons for me this weekend. But also this weekend, it's the Wikimedia hackathon.
Indeed.
And I think you have already been giving some workshops there.
I had a workshop on Kepler GL and Wikidata, so we made interactive maps and such. We have been having it on this channel twice in the past. Because those episodes were really popular, so I decided to do a workshop on that. And it seemed like people enjoyed it.
Nice. Are you going to continue with that today?
No, I'm not. I'm doing a bit more of a generic open source and hacking theme here.
So a little bit more close to the hackathon theme.
Indeed. What did you have in mind, Jan?
I'm also going to go into the hackathon theme. It's perhaps a little bit similar like the last year, looking at the item for the hackathon and then for items for hackathons. And specifically, I want to go into the recurring ones and see if we can clean up something, because I had a little look and I saw a few things that could probably be better for people to be able to reuse them.
Right.
All right, so I'll start by sharing my screen here. That's probably a decent zoom, I think. And today I'm going to start with an example. I'm going to start with the simple cats, because that's a good one. If you just want a simple query, we can remove the cat thing here. And what it does, it selects something that's an instance of a cat. But yes, we don't want a cat here. I want hackathon, and press Control Space to give this little suggestion. And it's the first one that I want. So let's first see just that short thing. What do we have in Wikidata? And we get 103 results here. That's pretty good. And we can see we have the Wikimedia hackathon for 2017, 19. Perhaps we could sort this in. Let's do that immediately here. So
alphabetically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So item label, because then things that just differ with the year in the end will be next to each other and a little bit easier to see. Oh, and we also get the side effect that we see things that don't have a label in English yet. So let's just check one of these. So country Japan, so it's probably in Japanese. Let's see if yes.
Yeah,
Yahoo. But it is a hack U, so it could probably be copied to the English one.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that right now because I think we're kind of close of getting the multilingual thing.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Yeah, so
we should be really close to the multilingual. I think it's on test Wikidata.
Oh, that's really nice. And for you who don't know, of course, in many languages, the label will be the same. And so it's just getting copied over and over, which could probably be done a little bit more efficiently. And so there's going to be is it a language tag? It's called that's going to be for multilingual labels.
Yeah, it's going to be MUL.
Yes, MUL. And then, of course, we're going to need to figure out exactly learn how to use it well as well. But that comes later. Oh, and here we have another nice here. We have the Biohackathon Europe 4 years in a row. We have the CTCs. There's 25. I think the 26th is going on as we speak. at the same time as the Wikimedia hackathon. Coding Da Vinci is another Wikimedia. I think it's Wikimedia Deutschland who started this one, not only by year but also in different places. Very cool. And I guess here in the bottom we have the, oh, we don't have the 2022 yet. That's surprising.
Oh,
But let's have a look at one of these. See how they look like. So it's a hackathon and a convention. Part of a movement, part of the series. This one is probably interesting.
but it gives a warning.
It should be a recurrent event edition on this one.
Right.
Yes. So I think this is one of the things that we want to add. Let's check. Is it only this one that's missing it? Because I think that's sort of the established way to model it. Here we have it. So that's nice. And then we shouldn't get... here we didn't have the part of the series. We did here, a little bit further down. Why?
But is each edition reoccurring as well? Like in this case?
That's an edition of recurrent event.
Oh, right. Okay. Edition.
And then we have the recurring event on the top one.
Right.
But we have some strange here. Why do we have two? Oh, in Prague. All right. Wait. Should these two be?
That's odd.
Merged? Wikimania hackathon and Wikimedia hackathon. All right. So they are different.
Indeed.
Follows. I'm not sure this one should be here.
No, it's not a part of the edition of
No.
Wikimedia hackathon.
We can't add everything that it's after, because that would be
exactly.
So
it's also after the Second World War.
Yes.
It's not.
So that's, and then followed by. That's a little bit better. But I wonder here. We didn't see it, but let's go back here to see if we can expand our query a little bit before going in, because now we take everything that is exactly an instance of, and I wonder if there could be some sort of type of hackathons that we have well modeled. So I'm going to add this usual property path where we say /wt : and then subclass of, which is B279, and a star to keep going down as far as we can. So we had 103 results without it, and with it, do we get any more? We get 25 more. All right. And one in the top as well. Which one is that? Curious. It's a game jam. Oh, and which also has other ones. Let's see. In French. It's tempting to add the label, but I'm going to skip it this time as well. Now let's head back over here to the query again. And what I want to find out is if we have more things that were like this that didn't have the... Oh, did I even add it? No, I didn't even add it. So I want to add this over here. And let's check for things that have that. Is that what I want to do? Yes, let's start with it.
Yeah.
So it should also be something that's with this. I still had it in my paste buffer. So I pasted it. It's the recurrent event edition. So now probably all the top items will, or the things that are part of, will disappear. And now we only got 28, which is probably expected. We'll do have these nice series. All of these should, in theory, have more than one item because someone said they were recurring. We only see one wiki text storm. So that might mean, let's head up to, I'm going to close a few of these. So it might mean that the first one don't have the recurrent event because when it was done, people weren't sure there's going to be a second one. So let's go to the series here and see if something links to it and see if we can add it to that one as well. They're not listed here. They could possibly be it, but let's see if we have something. Yes, so we have, oh, we have a third, but we don't have a first. This one had the recurrent event edition, but didn't show up. Because the text storm wasn't in hackathon. It's a recurring event. It says it's a hackathon here, so I'm gonna add that. Might be that someone thought it was a little bit wider, but I think we can say it's people are hacking. So that's good. Now we're getting that one in there as well. And how much lag do we have today? It says a few seconds. So if I try, perhaps we. No, not yet.
No, it's in the cache. So if you add a comment,
in the cache. So I'll remove the auto language and just go for English. That will probably no.
Okay. A few seconds is very raw.
Yes. Let's remove the comment as well. See if that. Right. Now it says a minute. All right, time flies. So these are probably the ones that are good because they have this. So now let's try to flip it and see things that don't have it and see what we get. So I'll oh, and here this semicolon just makes me use the same first part, and I can tag on several ends of the triples. But now when I do this, I'll have to create something new here in the start. I'll go with a minus, and the item having this. So everything that we just saw having this should not be there, and probably in the order of 100 items then, if we have first had 120 something and here 20 something. Or very close to exactly 100. And this is probably then interesting because these didn't have the recurring, but clearly they are recurring. So here we could probably do a little bit of a fixing and making them. Let's check one of these. Let's take one of the later ones to see what it looks like. Hackathon, editathon. Does it have a part or a series? Follows at least, but not a series. So there might not be a top item to it. So, but we should add, I guess, recurring event edition to all of these. Let's scroll through if we see some shorter series before going into like with 25 items. We had the 3 and 5, the 4 still not showing up. And then Wikimedia. And this one was expected because this is the parent hackathon item. and we would expect something like, oh, we also have it here for the wiki text storm, and we would like to have like something like that for the CTC, Code the City, hackathon series or something like that. eLive Sprint, these should probably have recurring. OpenGlam.at, these might be different. One is about culture, one is just a hackathon. Oh, and these Yuri Game Jam. I wonder if this one just have a bad label, missing the game, because the numbers add up. So where do we start? I'll start with the... Let's start with the 3 and 5, because we already made the 4. So let's check this one out. It says the first edition, so we'll add... what was it now? Recurrent event edition. There we have it. I'm going to copy that. Publish. That's for the 3. Then for the 5, the same. Could have copied the statement with the tool, the little green thing I have here. Where else do we want to go? With the rainbow jams, let's take a look at these two. See if they should have it. If it's clear from here. Followed by. All right, so that I think that's clear enough. So we'll add recurrent event edition on this one and on this one. Did we have it? Yes, we had it over here, so we can close these 2 and this. Yes. We'll have a look at these 3. Lots of game jams. Nice that someone had modeled that as 2. So if I understand it correctly, game jam is sort of like a hackathon, but with a focus on games.
Yeah. Usually making new small games, I think.
Ooh, fun. Was someone having a session about games in the hackathon as well? I wonder if they managed to do anything.
I've been playing a lot of Redactyl lately.
Yes, that's addictive.
It's addictive and it takes quite a lot of time sometimes.
Yeah. Yes.
So it's this game where they have a Wikipedia article from English Wikipedia, but they have blanked out almost all words.
I think we get the prepositions and a few other common words.
Exactly. And then you're supposed to guess the words until you can guess the article. And it's not always super common articles or known articles. It can be rather tricky.
Have you found anyone being more easy than others? Like types of articles? Do you like biographies or?
So I got a little bit of a trick that I found animals to be rather easy, as well as things with large history sections. Because then I'm usually rather good at seeing the patterns.
Yes.
Pop culture is the hardest one for me. As well as one time it was like some specific sugar. which was like fine figuring it out in Swedish, kind of.
Uh,
But then, yeah, it gets trickier when you have that type of.
I think sugar is one of the few that I actually solved.
Right. I usually solve them, but it can take an hour.
Ah, yes. All right, so now we have these 25. I wonder if I can do it quicker than just doing 25 edits in another way. I don't think so. I think I'll just open all of these and do one single quick edit on all of these. So I think there's a famous XKCD about the investment of time in a tool to solve something and or just doing it manually. And
Indeed.
this is somewhat like doing a quick statement, but I have to write a new query to just get these. And if it were 100, it's also like the manual labor being sometimes a little bit boring, but it's fun to see how these looks as
I
well.
came to think of this anecdote of carrying water or building a pipe.
Uh-huh. That's a good one. Yeah, I'm gonna carry a couple of buckets here. Let's see if they load properly. Otherwise, it will be hard. Because now I don't get the add button here. It doesn't seem to be loading still. Is that on all of these?
That's odd.
There's something still loading here in the background. There it comes. I do have a lot of scripts right now. I'm a little bit in a testing phase. You can see here I have one that gives me the identifiers, but also the other ones, and I guess that one is a little bit heavier, that says who added statements and labels.
Right.
But sometimes that's very, very useful.
It saves a trip to the history.
Yeah. Now this sort of turns into something I imagine is quite common for many Wikidata editors, that you end up in doing a lot of clicking buttons, where it's not everything is like qualified work. It's very slow for me here. Yes, Nicholas is on it. Too many gadgets spoils the interface. Really, it's doing that for me too. But I want to do. Sometimes we skip these and say I'll do it afterwards because of the show. But I also want to sort of. This is for me. This is like normal Wikidata work that I sort of do every day. Like you encounter so many times, there's like, oh, I need to fix these 10 or these 20 just to move on, and that's a small little rabbit hole. So it happens often, and if you encounter it, don't feel like this is stupid, because I think that's like we can't automate everything, even though some of these things could be automated. I still think it's like we should have this like a normal behavior.
Indeed. And it's also like one can still invest in the main interface, so to say.
Yeah,
By making it
yes.
faster and improving, like.
Yes, it's not only tools we need the
Indeed.
basics to be good as well.
Yeah. I, for one, would love to have much better like keyboard accessibility in the editing here, because I can feel when you really sit down for a long time editing Wikidata, you can like feel it.
Yeah.
Because you can't really use the keyboard as much as one would like to.
Yeah. It was wasn't it the Accessibility Day this week. We could have
Yeah.
had that as a theme almost. That might be
Indeed.
something we could do, like trying to do an entire of these episodes without using the mouse.
Oh, should we only use the screen reader as well?
Ah, if we can plug in the audio into it, that might be something.
I think we can do that.
Yes, I think you need to stick to one tab.
All right. Okay. I don't think we will need to have multiple tabs if we are using a screen reader.
No, could be an interesting lesson, I guess.
Yeah.
Do I get anywhere in this? 19. So I think I'll have like. Did I do 10 or 20? 20. Oh, not human. This is also sometimes where it's easy to make a human error. Click on the suggested value before the thing you want to do pops up. Coming down on the home stretch here. When you're starting to be able to read the titles of the tabs, it's thing there. And here is also editathon. Nice with a combination. Oop. Closed it. Now after this, I'll rerun the query. And hopefully most of these have during this time been picked up by the query service. Oh, again, mixing up Control C and Control W I used for closing. Control V, Control W, closing the tab too early. There we go. And just 3 more. Looks like some of these have had theme as well. So that would be nice to add with the main subject or something like that.
That would indeed be very nice.
Was there a theme for this year's hackathon? The Wikimedia hackathon?
I don't think so.
Right, last one. And even though it seemed like it was a lot, it didn't take me more than 2 minutes, so not too bad. It's rather quick. So let's see how much. 70. The last 3 is not picked up yet by but we have lost some other hairs as well. So that's some cleaning up here in the hackathon tree. Now there's could be more top items added to this, and of course this year's Wikimedia hackathon. I have a question here. Items that have hackathons and that don't have recurring event. Yes. This. Wait, what? I don't understand the question now. I think
There can be hackathons that aren't recurring events.
yeah, yes,
Um,
but I think these were participated in some as well. The CTCs. All right, I think that's what I'm gonna show here for the basics. And now let's see if you take it even more to the basics.
right. So I want to edit items about open source software. But I know a little bit about the modeling just because I have been around and is slightly interested in the subject, but I haven't like really focused on it. So I don't really know the modeling. So that's where I need to start. And I'm thinking like MediaWiki might be rather well modeled on Wikidata. So I'm gonna check that item out for a bit of inspiration. If I search for MediaWiki, let's see,
I think that has a really low number.
83. See if it got instance of free software. That's an interesting hint. It got a logo. It got a bunch of logos and end time. Got screenshot as images. Inception, a couple of the contributors. Publication date, right? Influenced by. Oh, that's an interesting one
Mm-hmm.
for open source software. AdWord received. Developer, platform, operating system, okay. Programming languages, the source code repositories, multiple ones. I assume it's like this is a mirror. I think it can indicate that, but I can't see it here.
Yeah, there's at least one preferred.
Exactly, and then it's like the main one, which one work in. It says version control system new value. That's an interesting one. That should be Git, right? Here is another one. What's the difference? Oh, it's interfaces. Okay, so it's just when it got the SSH. It says that's interesting because then it becomes kind of machine readable when model like this.
Mm-hmm.
But then I imagine this might not work as expected. Yeah. Bug tracking system. It's just Fabricator. Got a couple of end times. It got a ton of versions as most.
Yes, a lot of versions.
Has someone imported all of them?
I think so.
Right. Has used wiki, the icon file format.
Oh, there you have something.
The copyright, of course. This when I'm thinking about discovering items about free software, I'm thinking either instance of, but I think that the even nicer ways to look at it is just, hey, it got a copyright license, which is a subclass of an open license. Maintained by. It's maintained
Single
by
person.
Sam. Okay. Sam is great, but there are more people. Social media followers, okay. Stack Exchange, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
For Stack Overflow, a lot of software developers that use that. Has part or parts, that's an interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
And different from.
Yeah.
Okay, that's an interesting hint. But I want to try to learn more about well modeled like softwares in another way. I was just thinking on beforehand because if you remember and has been following for a while, I have a page about glaciers. And I got a query there which allows me to like get the glaciers with the most statements. And I'm thinking, what if we run that for free software and see what comes up? Which are the software project with the most statements? So here it is, glaciers with most statements. I'm gonna open this query, but I don't want glaciers. I want free software. That's one way to do it. It's also the license we could try, but let's start with this one. So I should get the ones with.
That's a lot
Oh,
of statements.
the Linux kernel has 700. I imagine this is a lot of versions.
Yes, probably.
But I also want to highlight in the query here that it got this super easy part here, which is item wiki-based statements. And that's just statement count already. So this is a very quick query.
So you don't need to count anything yourself. It's already stored.
Exactly, it's already stored there for us. Okay, I'm gonna bring it up to 100
I think we had
to see.
MediaWiki on number 10 there.
Oh, so MediaWiki was in the top at least. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm thinking I want to check out the Linux kernel. I imagine it mostly versions, but still might be a bit of an indication. And let's also check out something. Let's do Gnome Shell. Let's do that. No console. This is my terminal application. So I use it every single day. So I think it's worth having a look at that. Oh, let's see. This is the Linux kernel. Free and open source software. It's also an instance of a kernel, collaborative work, and project. I think the project is super generic, but I'm not gonna touch that. It's part of Linux, and it's part of Android, which is kind of true. If Linux isn't a part of Android,
Yeah.
but it's
Yes.
named after Linux Torvalds and Unix. Yes, it's just a combination that ended up being Linux. 91 mascot is the Tux and Tus, which are the penguins. There are a ton of platforms. We got a question. Instance of kernel. Yes, it's a operating system kernel. It's called.
Yes.
Which
It is
isn't
kernel,
technically
yes.
true because it's actually the. Oh, it depends. Is it? Yeah, it is. Depends on how. If you look at it from, is it source code or is it software? But we're not going on that rabbit hole. we again get this the source code repository with various what's the name schemas here,
Protocols, perhaps.
protocols. Thank you. We got a lot of versions. They make up the majority, but yeah. History of topics. So it got its own history of Linux. I imagine it's from the Wikipedia article. It's different from Linux. I imagine that's the name. Also Stack Exchange tag. And then a bunch of tags. Okay. Just having this is announcement date. That's interesting as well. Okay. Having learned a little bit about how they are modeled, let's see console, which shouldn't be that popular. It's a terminal emulator. That's its logo. I'm gonna compare it with the logo I got. It looks nothing like that, but okay. This is also interesting. So this operating system here uses Unix-like operating systems rather than listing them as a couple of the Orchard ones has done. Let's see here. Oh yeah, this is interesting. This was something I was looking for looking at MediaWiki. So we see a Git repository here, but it has quality mirror, saying that development isn't actually happening here, but it's just a clone.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna find MediaWiki here because that's something we can actually add. We got a bunch of versions. We got an email address, user manual URL. That's an interesting one. We got the copyright. Okay. So I want to also see that if the user manual URL exists on. Do we have a proper user manual? Maybe mediawiki.org?
Perhaps.
Perhaps.
I mean, there are parts of user manual is there.
Exactly. Let's go there.
You missed it. Hey.
There we go. So, technical manual.
Or the entire site.
Exactly, or the entire site. I was thinking the same, but I think the scope is more.
It's a little bit wider.
It's
yes.
Slightly wider. But the support desk is also interesting. Maybe there is a property for support. So I open MediaWiki here. So I want to find the various Git repositories here because let's see, there is a lot of them throughout history. This one, it says it has an end time unknown value, but I don't think it has ended, has it? Can I double check that? No, 1 hour ago.
Yes.
It shouldn't have an end time unknown.
Can remove that, yes.
And instead add has quality mirror, and let's see that we get the right mirror. Replica of website, that was exact copy of data. I think that's the one we use. There we go. And most of the Orchard ones are more or less historical, I think. Never really learned how Fabricator, Git on Fabricator and Garrett interact with this Orchard. I don't intend to learn it either. Considering that we are moving away from both of them. Let's see here. I wanted to check if there is something for support. No. That seems like something that should may support URL or something like that. But user manual, let's see here. For administrators. For developers. FAQ, is there something for FAQ?
Yes.
FAQ URL. That one we got. Oh, special my language. That's probably good as well. Language of worker name, but I can't add that because it got special my language.
Yes.
Can I do anything about that? I don't think I can.
do we have a way to like it automatically goes to something smart? I don't think we.
Adaptive?
I think that will yield a. Lusana says in chat yes,
Right.
but what?
I'm gonna leave it open. Add an exception to the property.
Yes, that could be the way to do it.
Yeah. Right. So one can add exceptions here.
To the constraints, yes.
Under the constraints, but I'm not a fan of this. I'm gonna be a terrible person and just be
leave that.
Skip that because I think there are a couple of ones that we have like several thousands of exceptions for. I think we have this issue where items can be too large. And I think it once happened to property because exceptions.
Yes.
And I don't really like that way of doing it.
However,
but indeed, it's a way.
I want to object to being a terrible person because of that, because there's rabbit holes all everywhere, and if you're gonna chase everyone down you encounter, you will never get the things that you wanted to do done. So I think it's fine to leave things for others.
Yeah, indeed. It's a wiki. It can be improved. Yes. I saw something interesting when I was browsing here. I saw... Did I lose it? IRC channel. Which I'm pretty sure MediaWiki got one. I'm pretty sure I'm on it. But give me a link. Can I search one? No. Let's see. Here we got user help. Is that a manual? Oh, this is a manual.
That might be the manual.
Indeed. And it was called
User Manual URL.
User Manual URL. I didn't expect to improve the MediaWiki item, but it turns out it was completely possible.
Now you did have a language, yes.
Now we did have a language, indeed. Okay, let's see if we can't find the ERC communication. Support, forum, Stack Exchange, Reddit, Mattermost.
There you got it. Oh, you just missed it. Up a little bit.
ERC channels, right. So that's it. I'm gonna copy that link. Let's see, and the Watcher one is slightly different. I'm gonna double check that it doesn't exist here. Nope.
Yeah, that is tricky sometimes when you have these large items. It's hard to see, is it already here? Because you don't get a warning. Oh.
And this is outside of my
Now you did get another warning.
But I can't read it.
Could not save due to an error. An URL screen. You see everything there.
What? Oh, is it just... Oh, it just looks cut off.
Yes.
Okay. Show me the error again. Could not save due to an error. A URL scheme is not supported. But it should be.
Does it say only IRC in the
Yeah.
property?
No, I actually don't think this is the property because it should just give us a warning. I think this is actually in the filters. Yes, we got a question. If I do it like this, it will indeed work, but it's technically slightly more correct. I think the difference in
Oh,
protocol
so
wise
it's
is
the
that,
views filters giving you that.
yeah, or even if it's in Wikibase somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't think it's on the property.
You
Okay, I'm gonna need to. I think the difference protocol-wise here is that ERC is not encrypted
Mm-hmm.
and ERCS is encrypted. But let's do it like that. I think it will redirect correctly. Um, let's see. I found something else here. I found interesting. I found, was it Reddit?
Mm-hmm.
Which could maybe be added. Let's see what's in here. Subreddit. It's already there.
Yes. But should we add a qualifier for unofficial?
Oh, indeed.
Because it said so on the Media Wiki page.
Yeah.
No. Now you're adding a new statement.
Yes. Let's see. It's a little bit tricky when you switch between the compact view and.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I think we did it using has quality.
That's a good question. Or is it has role?
Right. Let's.
I don't remember. I think we did something similar on the freedom of information request URLs, but I don't remember which one we used.
And this is interesting. Qualifier. Okay, and this is generic. Okay. I think we use object has role.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna check this out afterwards. Oh, it gives a warning. Let's see. Object has role is not a valid qualifier. Let's see what is. Has quantity. Okay, maybe that's it. Let's see.
It's specific for the subreddit. They haven't defined it as a.
Yeah, but let's see how they use has quality. Oh, they haven't modeled that.
No. I think that was the warning.
Okay. I'm gonna leave it and double check later on. I think
Mhm.
we got a couple of examples as you mentioned. Maybe we should continue with MediaWiki then. It seemed to. Is mailing list a thing? I don't think so.
Now, mailing lists is a property.
It is.
I think it might
Then,
already be there.
Yeah. Mailing list archive. Okay. Yeah. So both MediaWiki L and the announcement. This is also interesting. It got the has use user support and intended public end user,
Mm-hmm.
which I didn't know about the list. I thought it was developers as well. Wikitech ambassadors, that wider. Twitter, I think I saw newsletter. Okay, I think we might have gotten it here. I was surprised. I didn't think we would improve this one. Let's get back to Liston if we find something interesting. So far we have looked at MediaWiki and console. Do you have some favorite open source software, Jan?
I've been using GIMP all day. You had it a little further up in the list. I'm
Oh,
editing
right.
images now that I'm uploading.
I as I actually told Jan just before we started here that I'm proud of myself this week because I installed GIMP and can actually do a little bit of editing on my images.
Nice.
So let's give that one a little bit of love. GNU package. Okay, that's fine. It's interesting to see
Old
how
one.
old these
Yes.
projects are. Developer the Gnome project. That's interesting. A mix between persons and. This is also interesting that even the mascot here
As an item.
got an item. Wilbur.
It's in
As
Super
part
Tux
of
cart.
parts. What did you say, on?
It's in Super Tux cart. So
Oh,
that's
that
why.
makes sense.
It's the gaming people who've been here modeling.
Let's see. Platform Microsoft Windows.
Uh, can we do that like a multiple thing?
Yeah, and why does it say inferred from wine application database? I mean, that's used for running like Windows programs on Linux.
Probably it exists there and it has been imported or
Yeah.
something like that.
Oh, but this thing, look here. It says platform
Yeah.
Microsoft Windows,
Mm-hmm.
but operating systems,
Oh,
a ton of them. So what's the actual difference between platform and operating system?
properties, yes.
Um, software works on, and this is platform for which work was developed or released, or the
It
specific platform version of a software project.
is platform a little bit wider because it could be something like you see there Xbox 360, which isn't an operating system.
Exactly, it's a piece of hardware.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I would say so. That's probably right. This could also be hardware. Um, it a platform could technically be a train or a Raspberry
Mm-hmm.
Pi,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm gonna leave that for now. Readable formats. That's a
Mm.
lot of them. I assume someone checked all of this.
It would be nice to have starting dates for these to see the history, like when was
Yeah.
it added. Oh,
Some they seems to have software version identifier,
all right.
which is a little bit tricky to follow. I imagine. Like,
Yeah.
was it added? I imagine format has also been removed.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it doesn't really indicate
Yeah.
that sort of thing. Writable formats, a ton of them. GUI toolkit or framework. Oh, this I think we could maybe add to console, which we just looked at.
Mm-hmm.
Also programming language. ETK. Source code repository, they just got one. Web interface, GitLab Floss. Software quality assurance. Continuous integration. This modeling I don't really get, but I can live with it. Here we got a bug tracking system. This is interesting. Here we got software version identified deprecated.
That seems wrong.
That
Or
seems.
was they like retracted those versions? No.
No, I can't imagine. Oh, it's beta version and release candidate. Could that be it? Yeah, it's probably.
All right.
Okay. I see what someone
Mm-hmm.
tries to do,
Yeah.
and I don't know different practice, so I'm gonna leave it. But we got two preferred versions. The
Hmm.
pre-release version is preferred. That does not make sense to me. I'm sorry, I'm gonna change that to normal.
Yeah. Because that's probably bleeding edge more or less if it's pre-released,
Exactly.
and that shouldn't be.
And let's see what's happening here. Hello, Wikidata. There we go.
Oh, I
Here
think
we
the
also get.
your UI didn't catch up with letting the green go.
No, I don't think that works. The
Ah.
color is always just stuck with me. I have wondered the same thing multiple times. Here we got the user manual
Mm-hmm.
as well as has use.
Mm-hmm.
Official website applies to jurisdiction.
Uh,
Isn't it official website even
it's
in
the
another
one
country?
I get to. I don't know.
Again, I'm gonna leave it. I see what someone tried to do, but I don't think we should do that. Um,
I think they try to do the opposite, saying which jurisdiction applies to this rather than where
yeah,
this.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I see why they would like to model that, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it should be done that way. Um,
Mm.
Alexa rank. That's an interesting one because that's about a website,
Yeah.
but GIMP isn't a website,
No.
and I imagine its website shouldn't even have an item, at least according to me, so to say.
Yeah.
We shouldn't like have every website in here. We got a bunch of ERC channels. This gives warning. Oh, it should just have a single value. But it got has use.
No. Yeah.
Um, I don't think has use is correct either. I think there is a better one.
Uh-huh.
Let's see if it wants to load the interface today. Hello, can I see things?
Disappeared.
I'm gonna reload this.
Oh,
Oh,
did someone hack something in the
oh,
hackathon?
I'm quickly gonna check ERC here. No one says something.
All
Okay.
right.
Let's see if it. No. Okay. This is how we end the stream.
I
We are
it
kind of
seems like
bad
a
in the
good
timing.
time. Yes, as any. All right. Yes.
Yeah, it happens. I wish whoever is on call to.
It wasn't Albin breaking the thing. I think there's
No,
someone in another hacking session here. If it's even the hacking, it might be
yeah,
totally unrelated. It's probably
and
totally unrelated.
I wish whoever is on call at the Wikimedia Foundation currently to not stress too much
Yeah, yeah. Not for our
and
sake.
not for our sake, and don't stress too much. And if you come to me one day and say you fix this, then I buy you coffee.
Nice.
Um, things like this happens.
Yes.
Okay,
All right. So lots of manual editing today.
yeah,
That's pretty cool. Uh, sometimes I feel like we're not doing that enough, but today was good. Today we did do it.
yeah. The same. Sometimes it's just nice to sit and do this, and
Yeah.
to me, it's something that's rather a bit of meditation almost
Mm-hmm.
sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
and it can be rather relaxing.
Yes, indeed. Okay. We don't have any plans for next week yet. So if anyone has any suggestions, please send them our way. And we'll see what we can do. Oh, there's some issues. All right. Exactly. Happy editing.
And with that, happy editing.